Authorities in the UK are continuing their investigation into the Manchester bombing, arresting 2 more men. 8 people are now in custody and a clearer picture of the suspect, Salman Abedi, is emerging. He was a 22-year-old British-born citizen. He'd returned from Libya in the days before the attack, and the sophistication of his bomb makes authorities fear he wasn't acting alone. That means the prospect of a terror network is in play, and it's prompting some members of the local Muslim community to claim authorities missed warning signs. One of them is Mohammed Shafiq. He joins me from downtown Manchester now. Thank you very much for your time, sir.
Good evening.
What do you know about this terrorist?
Well, we know about 2 years ago, a community activist here in Manchester understood that Salman Abedi was expressing viewpoints which were extremist, and he was glorifying suicide bombing and supporting Islamic State. And he reported that to the counter-terrorism unit through the hotline on 2 separate occasions. And as well as that, a number of family members were also reporting the radicalization and the extremism that Salman possessed, and reported that to the authorities. So he was on the radar of intelligence agencies, and there are serious questions for our intelligence agencies and police in this country to answer about what they knew, what they did with that information, and whether they followed it through.
What do you think of the possibility that there's a like-minded network of people in Manchester?
Sorry, say that again?
What do you think of the possibility that there's a network of like-minded people in Manchester or elsewhere in London?
Well, we know that, he's not a lone wolf. There's a cell of terrorists who have supported him, who financed him, who helped build the bomb. And that's why the police are working extensively hard here in Manchester to make sure that we can capture the people behind this and make our city safe. We face a huge threat from terrorism in this country and around the world. We've got to be unified, and you saw that here in Manchester this week, in the last few days, of Manchester people of faith, people of no faith, all coming together in unity against terrorism and against extremism.
Given that, Manchester is a great community, why do you think that this message of death and destruction appeals to some young Muslim men?
There is a reality about extremist narrative around foreign policy and around military adventures around the world, that people are brainwashed. They use an ideology of violence to distort our Islamic teachings, and that is something which we've got to confront as a community, and we have been doing for a number of years. Take on the ideology, expose their finance sources, expose them people, and make sure that no other person can be killed in the line of terrorism.
You mentioned that some of the people in the local community were aware that he had expressed some extremist points of view and had even alerted counter-terrorism authorities to that. Did anyone, do you know, in the community take him aside and say, listen, what's going on here? Where's this going?
I do know there are a number of people who did have conversations with him over the years. Some of them then reported that to the counter-terrorism police hotline. Others didn't approach him. We know that he was known to intelligence agencies. We know that people were aware of his actions, his viewpoints. The mosque, for example, that he used to go to prayer Friday prayers, the imam there was speaking out against ISIS and the barbaric nature of their crimes. And so people were aware that he was expressing very controversial viewpoints, which was endorsing violence and barbaric crimes. And I think we need to really hear what the intelligence agencies have to say about what they did with that information when they received it.
We've heard a lot about how the broader community in Manchester is pulling together. Is there any blowback at all against the local Muslim community?
Honestly, since Monday night, no, there hasn't been. Monday night, just after the explosion, taxi drivers, predominantly Muslim taxi drivers, were picking up people, dropping them off to make sure they got home safely. One taxi driver dropped somebody off 60 kilometres away. People open their doors, people open their hearts. And here in downtown Manchester, people are not allowing people to divide us. And we're going to stand absolutely resolutely determined, united against terrorism with one voice as one city. And we're very proud of the fact we've shown the world how you react to a terrorist atrocity.
Mohammed Shafiq, thank you very much for your time this evening.
Thank you.